Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. We're going to talk a little tech in today's Rocky Mountain Marketing podcast episode because, as you all know, tech is not my friend. And so I learn from some of the best people in the industry. And when I find somebody that's doing something that I have no knowledge on, I try to do whatever I can to bring them onto the show so that they can share their brilliance with you guys. And today's guest, man, I'm so fortunate because she's been in my world for over 2 years now, but this is the first time we've actually had the opportunity to record a podcast episode together. She's been a speaker, man, at all of the big events that I've been to as an attendee. I've been so blessed to share the stage with her at CEX in Cleveland, Ohio. And she and I had the opportunity to spend some time together talking about what she does best and what is my Achilles heel. So for those of you that are regular listeners of the show, yes, we're talking about video today, and not just video tech. I had to bring in my good friend, Luria Petrucci, to talk with us about video tech. She has been helping some of the biggest names in the industry with their video setup, and we're so honored to have her as a guest on Rocky Mountain Marketing today. Luria, thank you for joining us to have a little tech talk.
Yay, thank you so much for having me. It's been a while. We've been talking about doing something together.
I know. And, it's so interesting, too, how life can go by so fast because before I hit record here, we were talking like, so what have you been up to? And I honestly felt like it's only been a few months, but you're like, girl, that was 2 years ago. And so much has changed. And so much, but yet still not enough because yours truly is still suffering from the ever snake-bitten, camera shyness that will never leave me. I try getting the new stuff, the new gear, and it's still sitting in a box over there. And I tell you,
Katie,
it makes me...
You are not alone.
But that's why I'm so glad you're here. I'm not alone, right?
You're not at all. It is. I want to challenge you, though, right off the bat. Never say never. When I first met you, I immediately was like, shh, this girl needs to be on video. Like, we've got to fix this up because she's scared to death of getting on video. And I'm like, no, like you're so talented and so like vibrant, right? And like people needed to see you. It was a point of fear for you, which is not abnormal. Like everybody goes through this.
So let's start not about how much I am afraid of the camera. Let's start about how much you love the camera because you've been changing the game for years now. You've been like, I saw one of your Facebook posts, like you've been given like a podcast movement award for like being
in the
top
podcast Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Podcast Hall of Fame. I mean, you've helped some people like Amy Porterfield. I mean, the list goes on. You have a huge list of people that you have helped in the video world. How did you fall in love with video?
Yeah. So, it sounds kind of vain to say how much you love video, right? But like, and so for me, I was one of the shyest people that you've ever met. Like literally, I did not talk as a kid. I was so shy and internal. And for me, it was not a thing of loving the camera, loving video. I got into it 18 years ago when all of this new video stuff online and podcasting was just beginning. And I was just fascinated with the tech behind it. Like I was hand coding RSS feeds, which is the thing that allows you to see the videos. So I was geeking out about it, a back end of it. But the moment that I saw community coming out of it, like the conversations that occurred and the the sharing of information and sharing of connection with people all around the world, not just me showing up on, let's see, my local NBC affiliate, right? I mean, I did all of that stuff after I got started with video online, but been on BBC and CNN and all of these different things as well. But for me, like those don't even hold a candle to what you can do online, because it is about connecting and supporting each other and helping each other. I can't do anything about the worldly news, right? Like I can't do anything about what's going on in the world, politically or otherwise. I can do something about having an impact and making a difference when in people's lives. And so when somebody finally gets past their fear, someone finally starts creating video, and it's because I pushed them in that direction, that is then having them get an impact. And then that snowball rolls, right? That's what I love about this stuff, is how much impact we can actually have in this world and change people's lives because of it.
You know, Luria, you're saying that, and I'm sure some people might be like, "Oh, changing people's lives, come on."
But I know it sounds so big and grand, right?
But it's true. You know, you and I were talking again before I hit record here. My mother-in-law passed away recently, unexpectedly, and it was super hard. I just posted, like, I feel sad on, like, I did a Facebook post just about feeling sad, and how the community, like my team members have been amazing. My friends have been amazing. But it was amazing to me, my friends that reached out who I've never met in real life. One of my friends we met during COVID, Carol Bardasano, she's the digital buzz over on Instagram. She and I created a great friendship over on Instagram. And she called me and left me the most wonderful message. It brought tears to my eyes. But there's people like that reached out to me and sent, you know, well wishes, sent meals, called me. And I was telling my husband this, I was like, it's crazy to me that some of these people that are reaching out and have been like so understanding and so supportive of me are people that I've honestly never met in real life. Yeah. But it's the power of video that really can help build that community. I feel like if Carol were to walk in the door, I would know exactly who she is, and it would just feel like it'd been a minute since I'd seen an old friend. Same with you. Like I see, I was in your Facebook group for the Getting Brave to go out on video. I saw you regularly. It really helped me create a connection to you where I feel like we're more than just someone that have met a couple times at different events.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have a stronger connection.
It is about that, like a feeling of, oh, like we're in this together. I was just reading a post from somebody who, she creates content, video content, and has a course around something like quilting. It's not quilting, but it's somewhere in that vicinity. And she received an email from a woman who's an older woman. And she said, my husband died a few years ago, and I haven't told you this yet, but he had signed up for this course. I went through it, and after he died, and I am now doing XYZ and making things for her family that are going to be treasured for decades to come, you know? So like, and she made that impact on this one person, even through somebody who had passed away. How incredible is that?
It's awesome. I always talk on the podcast. Obviously, I love audio, about the power of sound, but there's the power of video as well. And we're not just talking about the short TikTok videos, the YouTube shorts, the Instagram reels. There is something about seeing somebody show up consistently in your feed through video. When I was going through your course, I had so many people that in real life saying, man, I see you on Facebook all the time, Katie. I watch this and I'm like, man, all I'm doing is recording my podcast and you know, going live on Facebook at the same time so that I can check the box off of my to-do list for Luria's challenge. But it was amazing to see that, like, people are watching, even if they're not hitting the thumbs up. People are watching and they're seeing what you're doing, and it makes a difference.
Well, and with video and with the right setup in video for live or video recorded for course content, for coaching calls, any of it, you have the ability to actually create more engagement than you ever will. Sorry, Katie, in a podcast. So for example,
All right, show's over. No.
for example, I can throw, and if you're just listening, you won't see this, but I can throw animations on screen to engage with my community. Katie's mind is blown right now.
Yes.
And I can put visual elements on screen to help my audience consume the information in a more direct way. I can get them to pay attention longer and have bigger retention because of video, because not only are they seeing my face, they're seeing all of this other stuff going on up on screen to create engagement, to add personality to the experience and to give the viewer experience the best possible one. I believe at my core that the only thing that matters when you're doing video is the experience of the viewer. And that can come from emotion, that can come from retention with engagement, stuff going on screen. It can be simple or it can be really cool and something that people have never seen before.
So how much is all this cool stuff going to cost me? I mean, like I said, you've been doing this, like you're talking about like programming RSS feeds and stuff. And this is, I think I'm not alone when I say like, this is why I haven't done more video is because of the equipment that it takes, or like knowing how to, like you just made all this cool stuff appear on your screen. I was like, I don't even know what you did. Like, but I can do a thumbs up, and like Zoom will do a thumbs up bubble for me now, but that's about it.
That is people's number one self-belief, right? The self-doubt that comes out when thinking about doing video is, oh my gosh, I could never do that. The reality is you abso-freaking-lutely can. And it's actually much simpler than you ever imagined it to be. Technology has come such a long way since I began hacking things together. And it is so streamlined and so capable. You can look like a CNN production at your fingertips with a one-person production. So it doesn't have to cost a lot. I mean, if you want to give me your bank account information, I can spend all your money on gear for sure. But it really doesn't have to, right? And so my firm belief is that tech and gear is a tool, and it should not stop you. It should not hold you back. It should only serve as a tool to get your message heard so that you can have that greater impact faster. I've had people wait years to deliver on, right? And I had one student once who was like, her name was Anne, and she was in my community. She was learning all the things, and she hem-hawed around and procrastinated. 2 years later, she comes back at me and she said, so I finally did it. I finally went live. I finally created some video over the last year, and my revenue in my business increased 30% year over year. And I'm like, wouldn't you have led to that the previous year? Like if you had just gotten started, that could have happened then. And you could have even increased that more this year. So that's pretty impactful, like for you, even not just the outside impact that we're talking about. So it doesn't have to, you can literally get started with your phone. You really can. Phones are so good these days. If you
that's what I'm using is my iPhone, because I have this camera that's sitting over there, and I can't figure out how to get it to last for a full podcast episode. And so I know use my fancy camera because it won't last for the full episode. So I just use my iPhone.
We can fix that.
But for those watching on YouTube, I think I look okay. I think I look pretty good. Like this is just my phone.
This is just your phone.
It's just get me to turn on the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So, so from a cost perspective, since you asked, you can start with your phone. It looks good enough and it's great to get started. The issue with it is it's not going to give you that, very blurred background that we all know and love and want, that we identify as human beings as quality and professional. And it's also not going to give you stability. My favorite way for you to achieve video is a set it and forget it setup. That way you only have your mind set as an excuse and you don't have tech set up, like, because if you have your phone, you have to put it into its holder and then you have to take it out because it's your phone and you're using it for other stuff. So it's always this like put in, take out that can cause additional procrastination. So what I love is when you have a pro camera that is just going to get the job done every time. You can connect it to a computer and with the right software, and then everything falls into place. And yes, like there's just a simple trick to get your video camera to stay on the whole time.
Well, so Lori, this is the thing too, is you say like have a set it and forget it setup.
Yeah.
And that right there might be something where someone still says that still seems too overwhelming for me to have a set it and forget it set. Like, the iPhone, maybe that's all I can handle right now. I think that the people that don't want to go on camera are going to think of all these different reasons as to why they shouldn't.
Can't.
Yes. Yeah. So how do you help them? I know that like I said, you've helped create some of the best home studios out there. Like I don't even know if you can say all of the people that you've helped, but I mean,
do custom studio builds for Amy Porterfield, Michael Hyatt, Ryan Levesque, Pat Flynn, Jamie Kern-Lima. Yeah. Like
you've made some amazing in-home studios.
Yeah.
And what you've put together this course so that people can do it from their house or their office, like yours truly.
Yeah.
They can have the set it and the forget it set up.
Exactly. It's professional. It looks great. It puts your best foot forward, but it doesn't take up the space that my custom builds do, right? Because we put like the fanciest, coolest things in it so that it looks amazing and like a TV studio, because that's what they want, right? But most people, who I talk to who are in this audience, hi, you don't want to have to trip over, lights, and you don't want to hit your head on a light hanging out there.
There's not room in my
There's
office.
not room. Most of you are like, sharing it with a partner too, right? So I went to work to really identify where people struggle the most. I've worked with thousands of students training this stuff, worked with these amazing people as well. And one of the biggest thing was like, okay, I want small, I want just done, and I want it to not get in my way. And so I created a paint by number. So I created a paint by number style system, as close to, having me on site building your video setup for you, which costs a lot more. And so what it does is literally like simplify the tech so much that people are just getting in, getting it done, and moving on to the video. Now, I was just having a conversation with one of my students in there now, and you're right. Like, she got the setup done, and now we're dealing with mindset. Like, all right, like, it doesn't have to be this next thing that you want to accomplish with the tech, right? It's done. It's there. So let's create content. And that's all a mindset thing, which we can absolutely tackle. But yeah, very simply, you just follow along with what I do and you have a setup done. Tell you exactly what to buy, no decisions needed. Just move on through the process. Let tech be a tool for you to show up and be magic in your own unique way. And let's get that moved into the done category.
And now for just a quick break. You've heard me talk about some of my favorite social media tools on the show, and one of them is a tool called Metricool. Metricool allows you to plan, analyze, and grow your digital presence all in one place. From websites to LinkedIn to YouTube, you can track everything that you're doing online and see just what's working and what isn't. Check out Metricool today at katiebrinkley.live/cool. Just a note, if you use the links I provide, I may receive compensation. All right, let's get back to the show. And you're talking about just different like cameras and box lights. And then, we were talking about teleprompters beforehand. And just hearing me say, those three things, it might be enough for somebody to say like, yeah, I don't have the space for that. I don't have the capacity for that. But what this course does is it gives you all the exact tools that you need so that you can have that set up so that it stays there.
Exactly. And doesn't take up space. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think that is one of the biggest hurdles that creators have from creating video content, is thinking that they need to have all of these things and it has to look a certain way.
Yeah, I think they get, imposter syndrome. I think that they think, oh, it has to look like somebody's, like, I have a 9-camera video studio. Like,
What?
they think
9 cameras? That's insane.
I know, it's ridiculous. They think that they then have to do that too, right? So I stopped using all 9 cameras. But, like, I think that the other thing, the biggest struggle and hurdle is lighting. It's not only once you get the tech in your hands, you're like, I don't know, one, what settings to put my camera at. Don't know, number 2, how to make my lighting look good. I look horrible. Everybody thinks that as soon as they turn those lights on, they look wretched. And lighting is a very tricky thing, generally speaking, to get quote unquote right. And so what I've done is literally, I tested this and tested it and tested it. I tell you exactly where to place the lights in your setup on your desk. They're very thin. They're very out of the way. And then I tell you exactly what settings to place them at. And oh my gosh, you're 90% of the way there, if not 95 or all done. And like, I can't solve for every, room environment and every skin tone out there to get it 100%, but we're getting that so close to perfect. And then just fine tune adjustments and you're done.
And I love that you're talking about lighting because it is so important right now. Yeah. I have my camera up in front of the window because before my office, my desk was facing this way and there's a lot more space over there.
Let's talk about that.
But then I had this weird lighting coming on, the right side of my face from the window. And so then I was like, gosh, I look terrible. So I was doing all my podcasts with the lights off, and then it was like, oh, this looks even worse. And so, I mean, lighting matters. And
it does.
Just the regular ring lights are not the type of lighting that you're talking about. You're talking about these better lights.
Yeah,
right?
Let's talk about, hold on, I'm going to grab some props here for those of you watching on video. So let's talk about lighting. So the window lighting is an obvious helpful tool. And so what most people do wrong is sit with their back to the window because that's how you would sit in a normal environment.
But you have your back to the window.
Oh, I have a special trick up my sleeve for that.
Of course you
do. As I say, don't do as I do. Yeah, I have a special film on my window in order to accomplish what I'm accomplishing in my set. And I have windows all around, so I had no choice. But what you don't want is your back to that window because you will wind up with you're a shadow. You can't be seen. So what's the point of doing video? So you want to face the light. If you're going to use window light, you want to, put your face to the window. However, the problem with that is the changing of the light as normal light changes. The sun will go behind a cloud. One day it's, rainy. One day it's sunny. So it changes. And so if you're doing any length of time on your video, it's not going to be consistent. So then when it comes to lights to put into your studio, you have these different options. Ring lights became all the rage through the pandemic. And I saw like everybody purchasing them. It was the wrong choice. It just became a whole big thing. Most people are not using ring lights in the way that they're intended. They're a very specific purpose. Now, if you bought a ring light and you're using that, use it. Like, I'm going to encourage you to use what you got and not tell you. I'm not an advocate of telling you you're doing it wrong, so you must do something else. But if you're not happy with it, then take this under consideration. With light, bigger is better. Sorry to go there. But, light, when you think about big studio lights that you may have seen, they're these big soft boxes, these big round things or square things that do take up a ton of space. And while they have this benefit of offering the best possible light, they do take up too much space and, they're way more expensive. So then we come down into panel lights, let's call them. And so you can get something that looks like way thinner.
It looks kind of like an iPad.
It looks
Yeah.
like an iPad. Yes. I never put that together. I love that analogy. And so these types of lights have like almost a frosted front so that it softens the light a little bit more, right? They take up zero space and they at least give you enough flood on you to be able to get good lighting that looks professional and it's easy. So these are,
easy.
for reference, these
give
are
me an easy
Elgato
button.
key lights.
So for those of you that are listening to the podcast, it really is about the size of an iPad, about the thick of it, and about the same rectangular shape. It's just a light. So you'd put those on your desk, or you mount them on the wall, or
I love to just attach everything to the desk because then it's right there. If you use a sit stand desk, it moves with you. I don't recommend that with video, but a lot of people do have that set up, so you're not having to adjust for that. It's putting your camera, putting your lights all on the desk, give you this freed up environment on the floor to be able to just have everything you need right there, is not in your way, and you can still do the work that you do.
I love it. We only talked about lighting. I mean, you said ISO gives a lot of people hot flashes, and me, I have no idea what I'm doing with my camera. I spent a lot of money on a great lens and a good camera, and it's still, I'm like, I'm going to go with what I know because I know this will last for the whole podcast, and it's just my iPhone.
So the cool thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You say the cool thing.
We don't want to miss out on the cool thing.
No.
So the cool thing is you don't actually have to know anything about the gear that you're using. This is what I love to do in my world, is give you the benefit and give you the results that you're looking for without having to geek out. Because if that's not what you're into, then let's pass that by. All you need is to know what gets the look that you're going for, right? And so if you allow me, I'll just tell you exactly what to set the settings at, and then you get the look that you want, that you get that professional feel. And you never have to know exactly what ISO means, what aperture is, what f1.4 means, all of these freaking numbers that do scare people off. That's what I became super, super passionate about doing, is screw that. I can geek out with you all day long. I'm 18 years in video tech, in world, but we don't need to, right? For you to get what you're doing out there in the world.
I love that. Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the reason that, do you have a dummy battery?
No.
Okay. So the reason that your camera won't stay on is, one, we need to plug it in, and two, there's a setting in your camera that is an auto shut off. It'll just shut it off. The way I like to see this happen is you connect your camera to a powered battery. It just plugs into the wall, so you never have to charge it. And then you also bring it into your software like Ecamm or StreamYard through what's called a capture card.
It's like exactly where I wanted to take this conversation.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because we're talking about just streaming it in, and Zoom is great for meetings. I love Zoom. They've really come a long way. But this podcast, I record it in Riverside because it's great for audio. We get separate tracks in case anything gets weird. It's really good for audio production. Mm-hmm. You mentioned StreamYard. You mentioned Ecamm. Ecamm is an incredible tool where, if for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see all these cool things that are going around Luria's name. And before we started, she was changing all these slides out, and she did cool emojis that happened. And there's software that can help you make your production look that much more, more wow, more professional. And it's not a huge learning curve, right? I mean, these are what you help people with, right?
Yeah, that's I've streamlined the process of getting that software set up. Now, let's back up a little bit though, just so everybody has a perspective on what we're talking about when it comes to software. There are 3 levels of video production, whether we're talking live or anything else. And by the way, before I get there, I want you to set up for live capable setup. That way, that works backwards. You can do anything video. You can do course videos, webinars, you can do YouTube videos, you can do podcasts, you can do any type of video if you set up your tech and software for live capabilities. But if you set up for video, like if you just go buy a video camera that doesn't have the right capabilities within it, it doesn't transfer to live when and if you ever want to do that. And that is also just being able to put it into Zoom or to Riverside, right, of these capabilities. So that's, I want everybody kind of on that same track. So the 3 levels of video are phone. We've covered that. Then you have the level 2, which is like StreamYard, Restream. Riverside would be an example. Well, Ecamm. Not really. Riverside is a little different.
I really think Riverside is more podcast.
It's just podcast production. You're not going to get like all these fancy things. I can't get a lot of the
wow. Yeah. Like you have like tickers and stuff going on and all sorts of things on your screen. But yeah, like mine's just great for the audio side, and I'm also recording video.
Exactly. So level 2 is browser based. You just go onto a Chrome browser, Safari, and then just like get your video stuff done. You can do interviews, but it has limited capabilities. So you can do a lot of things, but not everything you might ever want to, which is a great way to start, right? It's super easy. Then you have level 3, which is downloadable software. And that's where Ecamm, OBS, or vMix come into play. My favorite is Ecamm, but it's Mac only. And so I like to teach on Ecamm for Mac. And if you are on PC, we go StreamYard until you're ready to advance into something much higher level. But with Ecamm, you have full broadcast production capabilities, all of the things that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me put on camera. You can easily do interviews. You can pull in your Zoom, like for coaching calls, this is a great thing. You can pull in your Zoom attendees and put them up on screen as well. So like you have full integration with your software that puts your name on screen, that throws little fun animations on screen, that produces a keynote-like slide with text on screen. So it does all of that, but it also has full integration with Zoom, which is pretty awesome. So you can do all of those things. You can dig into it to really understand the software and how you can use it to its fullest capabilities. However, it's super easy to just get started with basic professional look and feel, to be able to do interviews and to be able to put your graphics up on screen, your templates, right? It doesn't have to be hard. I think that we as human beings make things hard. Raise your hand if you're, that's me, right? Like in my life, I make the things that I'm not comfortable doing hard.
Yeah.
Like literally, okay, can I take a tangent here?
Yeah, let's tangent.
I've lived in my apartment for 4 years. It's an 850 square foot studio apartment with a 9-camera video studio. And I've never changed the lights until recently. All my light bulbs started going out. And I don't know like why or what, but I looked up and I was like, okay, well, I guess I better change my light bulbs. I looked up and I was like, never used that kind of fixture. I don't know what kind of light bulb that is. And I then just went on to the rest of my world. And then the next day came, I needed a light. And I was like, looking up and trying to figure out, well, I mean, the reality is I should have just gotten my ladder, popped off the light bulb. It's a light bulb, for goodness sakes. How hard can it be? And gone to the hardware store and matched it. Like that was a simple, easy path forward for me. However, I didn't know what was next. I didn't know the thing that I was about to get into. And so I procrastinated. And now it's months later and I'm still procrastinating.
Yeah.
The light bulb. And that's exactly what people do with this.
I actually love that analogy, because if you're nervous about it, or if it's something new, it's something that's not, doesn't make you extremely comfortable, you're going to find all the reasons as to why you shouldn't.
Totally.
And because you're constantly just trying to be perfect with it. But you know what? Done is better than perfection.
Yeah.
And getting it done.
And it can't get perfect until you start.
Exactly.
I was at the park the other day and a kid had just fallen off her bike. And guess what? She did not want to get back up. She was crying, throwing a fit. Her dad was trying to sweet talk her into getting back on the bike and actually trying, right? So, but she had just started that process. She had taken that first step of looking up to the light bulb. She had gotten on the bike, fell over immediately, and was done. So I just want you to hear that it is normal and it is human to be like that because like you said, Katie, like we don't yet feel comfortable there. So we want to avoid it. But what if you never do? What are you missing out on in terms of your business growth, in terms of the impact that you can have? What are other people missing out from gaining from you? And what if it were easy? What if you were bold and just stepped over that line of comfort? And what if you actually loved it like I do now? I was the shyest kid you've ever met, and people will not believe that now, but it is true. And I have had such an amazing experience through video that if I had never started, I would just be average.
Love that. And it's a wonderful spot to kind of wrap up today's episode. I think that you helped me get over the fear of going live. I went live. I was in your challenge. You know, I started putting out all of these on YouTube. It's changed. Honestly, incorporating video has changed my business. So I've got like 2,000-ish subscribers on YouTube now, which is awesome, you know, but before I was recording and I had the camera on, but I just wasn't publishing it. Yeah. I wasn't publishing it to YouTube.
Threw up hype on screen.
Yes. You know, you never know unless you try. You offer the full turnkey solution for building out the home studio, but you've just released this course. And I think that it's going to change the game for people that
already has, yeah.
That are kind of dragging their feet like I was. I know it. I mean, I haven't even looked at what the course is yet, but I know just from being in your challenge, the impact and the way that you teach, it's very empowering, and it allows you to just think, well, yeah, why can't I just do it? We talked about it on today's episode.
Yeah. Just from a heart perspective, like I said, I work with some of the biggest names in this industry, and I'm so humbled and amazed that they want to with me. But I did this because it was so important to me to see entrepreneurs just move forward, because what you can accomplish is so much bigger than, you know, allowing yourself to remain small and hold yourself back. I think there's a quote, and I forget who says it. It's like, if I had more time, I would say less. I poured months of my time and heart into creating this, testing it, making sure it was going to deliver on the results that I wanted, because I needed it to be simple. Like, I've geeked out all my courses before. They were amazing. They got a lot of praise, but I've never created anything that I am as proud of as this, because it is that simplification process that is so freaking hard to do. And if you create courses or create podcasts or any content, you know how hard it is to simplify concepts and processes. Yeah. And this, by all accounts, has done that job. And so I'm really super proud of it, and just humbled and honored if it will help you. If not, then, you know, hopefully we provided some amazing insight into getting going with video as well.
I love it. Yeah, you can, if you are interested in learning more about Luria's course, you can go to katiebrinkley.live/video, and you can get the course there. Again, that's at katiebrinkley.live/video. Luria, you've been seen on CNBC, you've been at CEX, at Social Media Marketing World, Podcast Movement, you name it. You've been everywhere. If people want to connect with you, learn more from you, join any of your communities, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you can hang out with me on my live show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific on YouTube at youtube.com/livestreamingpros, or hit me up on any of my socials. It's either my name or livestreamingpros. I would love to connect with you and see how I can support you in stepping into the next bolder version of yourself.
Perfect. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.